What's up, guys? It's Wednesday, February 8th, and this is Newswave. So we're going to start today talking about the Nintendo Switch, in particular, Miyamoto coming to investors and publishers. There's a big gathering, and he went ahead and talked to them about the ease of use when using the Switch in terms of actually developing for it or porting to it. Now, we've already heard all about how the Switch can basically take ports pretty easily. Even PC games can apparently be ported over to it in about a year total time. We didn't really hear what kind of group you need to do that, how many developers exactly, but what he did start talking about was the fact that Unreal Engine 4 is a big spotlight for Nintendo, their internal team. And this is what Miyamoto actually had to say to the investors during this call. That ease of software development has also been felt by Nintendo's internal developers. Also, even though software developers in the US and Europe are often said to have superior skills to their Japanese counterparts when it comes to software development techniques, Nintendo software developers have mastered state-of-the-art technology such as Unreal Engine, and their skills can now be compared with those of Western developers. Our developers are more excited than ever to create software. So this is very interesting. This actually is very good because what's happening here is they are taking Unreal Engine 4, something that they have really not used much in the past, obviously. The Wii U, for example, not the easiest thing to develop for because it still used PowerPC. The CPU was probably a major bottleneck for the GPU just looking at it, so they had to do workarounds for that, and it wasn't easy, whereas the Switch, based on it being much more current with a processor like ARM, and then it's also using, of course, a newer Tegra chip from NVIDIA. Even if you want to say it's the X1, it's still much newer than what was in the Wii U at the time when the Wii U came out. And again, it's NVIDIA supporting a lot of different ways to port over. Unreal, Vulkan, OpenGL. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. And the reason at this point that Nintendo is taking the time to learn Unreal inside and out with their internal development team is to then help third parties work around for their games if they need to. So let's say Nintendo wants to go to a company and say, hey, we really want your third-party game here. We understand you're releasing it for other systems. We think it would be great on the Switch. Why don't you start porting it, and if you have questions, we have an entire internal development team that can help you with workarounds or with different things you need for this system to make it work. That's why they learned Unreal Engine 4 as heavily as they have, and it's great to know that Unreal Engine 4 can be used fairly easily by companies to then move stuff over to the Switch. Of course, Vulkan is there as well if you want to do that. I know Doom ran very well with Vulkan at times, so that's perfect. And if you missed Humble Bundle, guys, go look at it right now because it has a ridiculous amount of games on there for $14, and they're all Star Wars themed. So the max amount of money is $14. It'll get you 14 Star Wars games. The third tier, while not as interesting to me, maybe interesting to you, but if you just want the first 9 games, it's $10.10 to unlock it. So you throw an extra penny in there if you want a 10, 11, and you get all these games: Jedi Outcast, Battlefront 2, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which is an awesome game if you have a joystick. It's so great. And then of course Galactic Battlegrounds was really fun as well. So yeah, guys, I recommend it. Go support the charity over there and get some awesome Star Wars games while you're at it. And guys, I don't usually report on other YouTubers at all, but this is kind of important because it is making history for video games, but it does also affect the way that video games and stuff are kind of viewed by the law. So what happened was a YouTuber by the name of Craig Douglas is pleading guilty. He ran a whole thing with FIFA Ultimate Team. He did that a lot on his YouTube channel, but really what happened is he started getting into gambling and allowing people to gamble on a website that he was running. Now, if you don't remember, this has happened a little while ago with Counter-Strike, and what ends up happening is you have underage people gambling heavily on this stuff. In this case, with FIFA, you're using tokens from your FIFA Ultimate Team. They title them FUT, but it's FIFA Ultimate Team, and you're actually using that to then gamble away for different things, for bets and stuff. You can actually bet on real-life sporting events. So not only does he allow younger kids, especially, they even had footage of like a 12-year-old gambling on this site, which is a big no-no, obviously. It's definitely against the law to have underage gambling. However, he also didn't divulge the same exact thing that happened with Counter-Strike. I figured people would learn. He didn't tell anyone he owned the site. He didn't tell anyone who's running the site. So, of course, here he is winning a ton of stuff, showing it on YouTube, and then kind of tricking these people out of their money to just go start laying down all of this money on his website. So it turns out he's going to avoid jail time, which I guess isn't a big deal, but he basically has to give back a lot of the money and then some that he got because him and his business partner Dylan Rigby are being forced to pay $271,000 in US dollars in fines. And it's kind of a big deal because it is the first United Kingdom prosecution for video game gambling, and it's probably just going to keep going, guys. I mean, these sites are big, they make a ton of money, and they try to always cheat the system by doing loopholes like, oh, we don't own the site, we don't run the site, go here, this is why I'm winning all this stuff, because of course they can affect the results in their videos when all of a sudden they win $5,000 or something like that. They can affect that. They can then trick younger kids. They don't do anything to verify how old you are. But yeah, UK prosecuting video game gambling now, so that's what we've come to. And in an investors call yesterday, Take-Two actually announced that GTA 5 has now sold through 70 million units, and they've actually shipped 75 million games now, all GTA 5 for different systems, and that makes this game ridiculous. Most companies are happy to get to the 10 million mark for units sold through, and here's GTA 5 that just won't stop selling. I mean, it's been out for a while now. It's been out on, obviously, all types of systems, 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, PC. It keeps selling. Like, they can't stop selling this game. I don't know if they'll ever make a GTA 6 until these sales start slowing down. I'm sure it's in development now because they know they have a massive cash cow on their hands here. Even with the GTA Online, they reported last December it was a record for people signed on, and of course you can still buy stuff through there as well. So they are doing really, really well with GTA 5. I assume right now they're focusing heavily on Red Dead Redemption, but they have to keep looking at GTA and just know that they have a hit on their hands whenever they want to release GTA 6, because all these people, not all 75 million, of course, because there's probably a couple in there where people have bought multiple copies, whether it be for the PC, the PS4, and the PS3, or Xbox One, Xbox 360. However, this is a ridiculous selling game, and they are just printing money over there right now. And if you're concerned about FIFA on the Switch being a very toned down, just release it as EA FIFA or something like that, that's not the case. Peter Moore has actually come out and announced that it is going to just be FIFA 18. Now, this was at an event in Paris with Game Reactor, and they were just talking about the future of the franchise. And then, of course, the Switch version comes up. He simply says, hey, it's going to be FIFA 18. It'll be released later on when FIFA comes out like normal. So it sounds like it may release in parity with the other games. He did talk about how they are designing a very customized FIFA experience. What that means, we don't know. It could be that they're trying to make it so there's like a quick play option if you're on the go, because maybe you only have 15 minutes to play. Maybe they'll do a thing where you can save in the middle of the game and just suspend, or maybe they're just porting it over and it's just taking a little bit of time to port it over, and there's a few things they have to do. It's hard to say. There's things like ad hoc mode. The online may have to be a compatibility changed up a little bit. Who knows? But the good news is FIFA 18, it's happening. It's not going to be some weird generic FIFA game. It sounds like it'll be a version somewhere in there with the 360, PS3, Xbox One, PS4. Who knows which version? It may even just be its own version. But there you go. Coming out later on this year, FIFA 18 on the Switch. And in an interview with Time, Mr. Kimishima, the president of Nintendo, went ahead and told them, hey, we're not working on a 3DS successor right now. Don't worry, because a lot of people were obviously at this point worried about the 3DS and its future, and then we hear that maybe they're working on a 3DS successor. He went ahead and just said, hey, we're not working on it now, we're worried about the Switch. And really this makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't spread the company too thin working on two different systems that kind of fill the same portable need at this point. The 3DS has a very strong foothold in the entire handheld market. And even though the system is pretty weak and the screen is low resolution, you know what? The Switch fixes both of those. So if you want an upgraded version of the 3DS, you can buy a Switch. I know they're not completely marketing as a big-time portable unit for some weird reason when it really is. But the 3DS right now is not having a new system developed for it, a revision, nothing. Don't worry about it. If you're concerned that, oh, a new 3DS is coming out, it may conflict with the Switch's market share, don't worry about it. It's not happening. It looks like they're just going to focus on the Switch. And he just said they're focusing more on the portable business with games right now. So you'll see more games start to come out for the 3DS. We already saw that new Fire Emblem game coming out on it. So it looks good for the 3DS. I think they can both kind of exist in the same area right now because the 3DS is definitely a more portable system. It's smaller, it closes, and I think that their games can be developed for both at this time. So this was great. Yesterday, a lot of you guys probably saw the A57 CPUs announced on ARM's Facebook for some weird reason, and they decided, I don't know, let's just put A57 on our Facebook. Also, instead of linking to their website, they decided to link to another site that was speculating about another site that was speculating about rumors from a paper. It seems pretty telling, right? It seems like the social media manager decided that it would be a good idea to do that because maybe they heard about it. I don't think the ARM employees talk much or something. It's hard to say. It was just definitely a mix-up. Maybe they were just playing around. Maybe they got word internally and they thought they would try to break news. Either way, it makes no sense. They corrected it quickly by pulling the post down. If you want to learn more about that, check my video out yesterday. And if you enjoy the Forza series, especially Forza Horizon, for example, the developer is actually going to step out of their comfort zone and attempt to develop a different type of game. So that developer, of course, is Playground Games. They're UK-based, and right now they have actually opened a second studio, and they're going to develop, all they've said, it's called Project 2. And they said the idea behind this is to give the developers there that have only ever worked on Forza Horizon something new they can try to do. In this case, they're going to try to make an open world game that, as simply as they can say, is not a racing game. And I think this is going to be really cool because all they've ever known is racing games. How cool would it be to give them a shot at something different? They've always done well with the Forza Horizon series, and I think this would be really interesting to see where they go after they step out of their comfort zone and try something new. Who knows what we'll get, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's called Project 2. If you want to follow it, you can. I'm sure you'll hear more updates here, though. And our last bit of news, guys, is pretty cool. It's actually retro-based as well for any of you guys who enjoy retro games. What happened was, over at Silicon Classics, they actually got their hands on source code for Turok and for NBA Jam. Now, source code is awesome because there's so many things you can pull from it. You can pull like code names for the project, different ways that they programmed for the system. In this case, it would be the N64, which is still kind of a mystery to a lot of people, the way it's like this weird anti-aliasing and everything. Well, the source code can help clear some of that stuff up, but it's just great for people who want to archive older games and stuff, because once they're gone, they're gone. So what happened was Silicon Classics, during an auction, actually got their hands on workstations and discs from Acclaim Entertainment. And that's, of course, Acclaim, who developed, like I said, Turok and NBA Jam Extreme. And this was pretty cool because on there's a bunch of different assets for the games. They also even found that one of the projects was actually filed and named under Project Squid. But yeah, so far that's all they've pulled right now. NBA Jam Extreme was Project Squid. And Turok, they just found source code for it. They'll probably go through it and see what else they can find. This was kind of something they posted up as soon as they got it. So it's going to be a while to comb through source code. It takes a while. It's not like something that happens overnight. So they'll comb through it, see what they can find. Maybe they can find something hidden in some of the code stuff. It looks really cool, though. It's always fun to see retro stuff like this pop up. That's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about any of the articles we talked about today. What do you think about Forza possibly going different? You know, maybe doing something a little different, maybe an open world action adventure game. Who knows? They're very good at open world games. That's not a secret at all. What do you think about the A57s and the Switch? Do you think ARM just made a massive mistake and it had to basically retcon that and pull it back? Again, let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. I will see you next time.